So whenever I argue with my boyfriend, he gets really hurtful with words and says mean things to me. He makes me apologize for things I'm not even wrong for, and says, "If you don't apologize, we are done." And because I love him, I apologize even if I'm not at fault. But when I tell him I have an issue with his mean words, he says you're right, but he does it again and it does have an impact on me. When he knows I'm right, he wouldn't apologize and would change the conversation by sending a funny post or a random post so we talk about something else. When it comes to going to places, he never lets me go alone. Maybe that's just him being protective. And says, "If I find out you went there, we are over." At the same time, he is a sweet person who cares for me and does show me affection when I am vulnerable and comforts me. When we are together in person, he truly does show affection and care, and we don't have arguments. Over text it becomes so overwhelming and we are more prone to arguing, and he always says, "If you disobey me, we are done." I don't understand how it is so easy for him to put it on the line when we have been through so much together with so many memories. He set this 1-minute rule where if I don't reply within a minute, he will start an argument, and expects me to explain why I took over a minute to reply. But if he takes much longer, he brushes it off. Another rule is that if I fall asleep, he won't call me because according to him, if I really wanted him to call me, I would stay awake no matter what. I do my best to stay awake, but sometimes my body doesn't let me. He also asked me to delete my social media accounts, which I said okay to, but when I asked him to do it, he didn't because of what he does. It is part of his job. Last month, when I looked at his Instagram, he was following girls and liked their pics, so I told him I have a problem with it, and he only unfollowed some and not all. It's not my insecurities. It's just that I deleted my social media out of respect for him, and I was expecting some sort of same level in return. He looks at my phone and is a firm believer of what privacy? You have no privacy around me, and likewise, but refuses to show me his phone, and when I try to, he says, "Don't you trust me?" I do trust him, and he is sweet and loving to me most of the time, but why wouldn't he let me? He always says I love you and has bought me gifts and wrote letters, but when we argue he acts like I'm the worst person ever and says I'm a worthless and useless being, that I am a waste of his time. I tell him that I have problems with how he speaks to me, but he keeps doing it again and again. So I don't know what to do because we have our good moments and sweet days, and when we have arguments it just feels like hell. When he gets annoyed, he could just simply block me or turn his data off, and I would have to message him from other platforms or call him non-stop until he wants to pick up. When I don't call, he starts arguments and compares me to other girls and says I'm not like them. I think that's a good thing, to be honest. But if I was to say don't talk to me, he won't call me or message me. When we argue over text and I see him in person, he then acts like nothing happened and starts to be loving again.